Hello, this is Lise Christofferson of Looking Back Colorado. This is the third and final episode of the Colorado Coalfield Wars. So since September of 1913, the miners and their families have been living in tent cities and supported by the UMWA. Rallies, violence, and camaraderie carried them through that winter. The chaotic violence occurring between company detectives, their militia was called, the strikers and strikebreakers forced government officials to call in the National Guard. Over the long run, this move proved costly, and there was a sharp reduction of troops in April. Even so, there was a short episode of quiet in the camps and mines. Some Guard members joined the miners for Easter feasts on April 19th, and they enjoyed with the strikers baseball, singing, and dancing. That night, there was a feeling of relative peace. On the morning of April 20th, guards for the company's towns came to Ludlow demanding the release of a strikebreaker rumored to be held there. Tikas met them at the nearby train station to talk with them. While they spoke, he noticed the company militia mounting a machine gun at the top of Water Tank Hill. He ran to warn the miners and their families to take cover. The shooting began at 10 a.m. and lasted for 14 hours. Women and children hid in dugout shelters beneath their tents. When evening fell, Lieutenant Carl Linderfelt, according to eyewitness accounts, broke his rifle over Tikas's head, and although Tikas was now dead, he was shot 3 times. The militia overran the Ludlow tent colony, lost any semblance of control, and looted the strikers' homes, then set fire to the entire colony. The next day, whiskey bottles littered the desolate landscape of scorched earth and iron stoves and bed frames. The militia torched any building still standing, refused the Red Cross entry into the camp, and insisted on leaving Tikas's body, accompanied by the bodies of 2 other men, to be left for all to see by the passing trains for days. Rescuers, risking the bullets of the militia, searched the camp for survivors who might still be trapped. Beneath the maternity tent, they found the bodies of 2 young mothers and 11 children. 25 people died on April 20th at Ludlow, including 3 National Guard troops. The fighting continued from April 20th to the 30th. 1,000 miners and militiamen and guards fought along a 40-mile front from Walsenburg to Trinidad. Company buildings were put to the torch, strikebreakers were chased off or killed. President Woodrow Wilson sent federal troops to disarm the combatants and ended the battle. The death toll was said to be as high as 199 men, women, and children. 400 strikers and 22 guardsmen were arrested, but all were released or acquitted. Militia leader Carl Linderfelt, the man who had killed Tikas, was reprimanded and returned to work. The miners buried their dead, and the funeral procession for Tikas stretched for miles. The strike ended on December 10th of 1914, and for the time being, little changed in the lives of the Colorado coalfield workers. Thank you for joining me for this brief overview of the Colorado Coalfield Wars. It is my hope not only that we all have a better understanding of this labor and management conflict, but that we might be inspired to investigate all the factors of the Ludlow massacre further. Yes, the company provided turn-of-the-century towns, but they were not maintained and they were patrolled by company gunmen. Their lives must have been difficult indeed to risk so much for fair treatment and respect. Thanks again.